It's Matt. Hey, everybody. Nicole here with Sobotics Repairs First Association and the Gadget Repair Expo. That's what we are here for. We are here to talk about all things Expo. And so there's amazing people here on this call. So I'm going to go ahead and go around the room and let everybody introduce themselves. And then we'll get started. You're going to see a free code on the screen for free tickets to the GRE. Yes, you can get a free ticket, so please take advantage of that. That code will be off and on the screen, throughout the call. So I'll start with Brian. Go ahead and introduce yourself if no one has.
Oh, okay. Hello, my name is Brian Ahern. I'm the co-founder of the Gadget Repair Expo, Repairs First Association, and some other ones. Yeah, that's pretty much. I don't want to take up too much time. I know Brandon's got some things he's wanting to say, and so I don't want to take up too much time. I'm on a lot of these calls. If you don't know me, feel free to pick up the phone and give me a call and get to know me. So yeah. And then this guy.
Yeah, there we go.
Right there. I'm gonna.
Guy, this is Ahmed, and I am with. I do wireless, prepaid, not a repair, but prepaid activation portals, marketing, digital marketing, speaking, and I can help you if you need to hire some virtual assistants, and I can help you with small business solutions. I can't wait to see you guys. Let's get this thing going. The expo's coming, and you're coming too. I'll see you all. Thank you so much. Now, you.
Hey guys, this is Brandon French. I'm with PayVantage. If you don't know about PayVantage, you should. PayVantage is a company. We give buying power to your customers to spend in your store. So if you ever heard the rebuttal, hey, I don't have money for that, or I can't afford that today, or I can't do this because of financial reasons, guess what? PayVantage is here to put money in their pocket that they can only use at your place. So hit me up. We'll talk more about it later. But on to the next way.
Now, there's a legend I haven't had the pleasure of talking to for a while. Matt,
Matt,
how are you, my friend?
I'm good. How are you? I'm emerging from my winter hibernation.
Nice. Hey, you and I need to get together on a call after this. I got a couple of things that you and you don't know it yet, but we're both in the same space that I just found out this week. So
I thought I heard somebody rustling around downstairs, but
Matt?
No, it's good to see you all again. Matt Zeminski. I'm the vice president of the Right to Repair Association, more commonly known as repair.org. I don't think I've been on a call like this since the first GRE.
Yes.
I think
and
so
it's good to see everybody again, and hopefully good to see everybody in 2 months in Vegas.
April 18th in Vegas. Yep.
Over to Tony.
Well, back to you, because it's good to have you guys on the live show. Matt and Brandon French, man, you look like you just disappeared for a good minute. Good seeing you guys on this call. Very, very powerful video, Zoom call today. Good to have you guys. I guess we have a lot of information here on this call, so tune in. For those that don't know me, my name is Tony Baker. I am the co-founder and owner of GSM Warehouse. We are a wholesale distributor for unlocked phones, devices, iPhones, Apple Watches, and more. So tune in. Like Brian said, we've been on a few calls, so I guess it's very important to have Matt and Brandon French today talking the most. So
yeah,
I'll hand it back to you, Matt.
Yeah, so I'm gonna let Brandon lead this. We always kind of talk a little bit before, and he's just excited and got a good message about the GRE. So I want to let him share that, and then we'll hear from Matt about what he's going to speak about.
I want to give a shout out to my restaurant. That's all.
I was going to ask you, is that really your restaurant? That is awesome! Oh my gosh! Congratulations, Tony.
Holy fry! All right.
I'll take.
So yeah, we were just chatting before we went live, and Ahmed called me and kind of got me involved with the call. And so the feedback that I get from a lot of dealers and a lot of stores, repair shops, is that when times get tough, like they have been end of 2023 and probably going into Q1 24, when times get tough, a lot of times if you're a new shop owner, if you've been in the business 10 years, you can feel a little isolated. You can feel a little lonely because you're thinking, hey, I've got all these problems mounting up. How do I get customers in my store? How do I order new supplies? How do I stock my store with certain inventory? And, you know, Google is your friend, of course. You can Google search and email some folks, but the reality is there are hundreds of other people that have had the same problems, the same questions you have, and that people that could help, right? So when I was talking to Nicole, I said, you know, the real benefit of coming to GRE and coming to Vegas and being around hundreds of other people is you find your tribe, right? You find the people that you connect with that can help you solve problems, that can help you brainstorm. And if you're really lucky, and this isn't that hard to achieve, you find a mentor, right? Like when I have questions and I have, you know, just a trouble solving a problem, I call the guy right above me right here, and I can call Ahmed anytime. I bet you if I called him at 2 a.m. in the morning, he answers his phone. He might be a little ticked off, but he helps me solve the problem, right? You find a mentor, you find people in the business. And so when you really have questions or concerns, you've got a real shoulder to cry on, or you've got a real ear to listen and give you advice and give you the wisdom of people that have been in the business. And, you know, you start adding up like the collective experience that is going to be in one room in one city at one time. It's unmatched. So when you think of why do I need to go? I've got so many problems here at home. I've got so many situations at my own store or shop that I need to deal with. Well, the reality is the answers are going to be in one place, right? They're waiting for you. And you're going to find like-minded people. You're going to find people that do what you do and have fun the way you have fun, and that have success the way you have success, right? So when times are good, you got somebody you can high five. When I get a big account, I call Ahmed, I call Brian, we high five over the phone. When I have some big sales down in Florida, I call Tony and we celebrate together. So again, I'm being redundant now, but come find your tribe. We're like you, and we're looking for people to get to know and do business with.
And
like you.
And
I love that.
I love that. Who's next? Is it going round?
Yeah, I just
Well-
wanted to stress that he's talking about coming to the GRE.
Yes.
This is where
yes.
you're going to meet people. You can walk up and just talk to people. And I feel like sometimes people goes to expos and they feel a little afraid to just talk to people because they don't really know anyone. And I always every year we give these tips about how to just walk up to someone, a way you can walk up to someone you never met and say, what do you do? We're at this expo. Let's talk. I don't know what you do. This is what I, like learn about them first and then, say about you, even if you're just talking to another shop owner. So, get out there and meet people you might not know. The show is amazing for that and build your tribe.
Absolutely. And
I'm looking right now at registrants or ticket sales or free tickets or whatever. We are over. I'm very humbled by this. Over double of the amount of people that have signed up for a badge this far in advance of the GRE. Normally the big rush is the last 30 days, but right. I mean, wow. Thank you everybody for wanting to come out. I want to say that from all of us here. But literally where we are at right now is double the amount that we have been at the last show. So thank you, guys.
This amount of time from the show. So
yeah, this far out from the show. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not it's attendees and it's repair shop owners. It's like what Brandon said. So it's not me buying all those tickets.
But let me ask a question. I'm gonna start with the answer with this. Why should anyone and you should be going to the GRE, the expo? Let me tell you this. You're looking at the panel over here, and we have way more people coming soon. Speakers and panelists and repair coaches, all the good stuff. Everyone in this here, at least I'm speaking of me. I know about Brian and I know about the others as well. Brandon, I started as a store owner. I started as a retailer. And some of the guys over here, we still are the founders of our company, and we've been running our company for 20 years. I'm speaking about myself. I've been doing the same thing for the past 25, 27 years. So I'm having fun. Giving you advice comes with 25, 30 years of experience. I'm not just pulling it out of somewhere, out of bag, and just telling you, oh, try to do this. I did it. I tried it. I know where you're failing. I know where's the problem, how to negotiate, how to talk, how to market, how to brand, how to build a brand. All these things, I've done it. I've done many of them, and I'm having fun. I mean, I'm really having fun working what I'm doing. I don't care, bad economy, good economy. I'm going to be at the GRE. I'm coming over there. I will meet people. I will talk to people. If I have to borrow money, I will borrow money to be there because I know that's an investment. That's an investment. I'm not spending it for the first time. You might be going to Vegas, an investment. I mean, you guys been in Vegas before, but this is here in Expo. All the professionals sitting right here in front of you on the screen. You got to be there. Brandon will be there. Tony will be there. Matthew will be there. Right? And Nicole, everybody's going to be there. So make sure if you're not going to this game, I don't know what kind of game you want to go to. This is your game. Make sure you're there.
You know, I'd like to ask Matt a question, if that's okay with the team here. Matt, you arguably go to a lot of different expos or trade shows or gatherings of people. Okay, and not a comparison of one against the other, not that question, because they all have different niches. But I'm throwing you on the spot here, Matt, and I don't know what the answer is going to be. Okay,
No pressure, Matt.
That's how we roll here. Okay, but Matt, you've had the pleasure of coming to a couple of ours, and I've met you at some other ones in the past, and you know, the repair industry obviously is different than the wireless industry. But what would you say is one of the biggest advantages that you've seen or that you could speak to of people coming to an event like this to network? Okay, here's my tagline: network, learn, and earn.
That's our tagline, Nick.
Yeah.
You didn't know.
What are your thoughts on that, and how important is that for Repair.org and the Right to Repair movement? I would love to hear how that all works together.
Yeah. It's a good question. I'll just use myself personally. I got started in this industry. I had a small business out of Redding, California, and I was carried it over from a high school gig where actually when I started, my school was paying me to do repairs because our technology department in our school district, when I was in high school, was so overwhelmed that they couldn't keep up with the needs of the staff. So I got hired by the high school to do repairs for the teachers and whatnot on their devices. And I went to my first conference after I got out of high school, after I started working initially at iFixit. And that's when I started making connections with people. And that's when I started to learn about how big and impactful this industry can be. And I met a lot of really great people who are, very close friends. I went to a couple guys who own businesses in San Diego. I went to their wedding. I went to, I've gone to parties with people. I've gone to work functions with people. I've done business deals with people. I think it started in that first conference. I think it was like something to do with CTIA at the time. And then it just carried on from there, right? And you meet people who you don't really know what you're going to do together, but you know that at some point you're going to have those connections handy where you figure it out along the way, right? My last job that I was at, the funny thing is there is a guy from Samsung that I was working at related to appliance repair. And I was like, man, that name sounds really familiar, really, really familiar. And I couldn't figure out where it was from. I went through a stack of business cards because every time I go to a conference, I keep all the damn paper cards and put them into a box somewhere. And I went through, and it was a card that I got from this guy at Samsung while attending CES in 2016. And it wasn't useful to have that, oh, he knew me, I didn't know where I knew him from until 2021.
Wow.
And
Nice.
like some of these things don't mature until, a couple years out. But like that was an incredible, like, oh yeah, I remember meeting you on the show floor and we were talking about stuff in front of a Stern pinball machine. Like,
Nice.
the value of these events is you make those connections and you start to build relationships with people that definitely a relationship plays out over time. It's not like an instant gratification thing,
Right.
and so I like it's super, super valuable. And my role at Repair.org is vice president. I help out and kind of make sure mainly that, what we're doing is represented properly on our website and in any public spaces at conferences and stuff. I would say confidently that I wouldn't be in that position. I wouldn't be helping out with the Right to Repair movement if I didn't start going to some of these events.
Yeah.
It opens up so many doors when you start to get out there in person and make these connections.
And
I
a lot of
agree
people
so
might
much.
not really know what R2R really is, and to understand the significance of it. And I just thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to come and talk to everybody, because I really think that we should, there should be more information out there about that. So thank you.
Yeah, no, thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, super excited to have you to get an update on everything that's going to be going on with Right to Repair. And I agree with you, Matt. I did the same thing. So I know that people are all into digital cards, but I like to actually, it's just an old habit of mine. I like to hang on to the paper cards. And I have a bag full of cards I've ever got at any show. And I just randomly throughout the year will go through them and just email people. Hey, can we get on a call? I met you at a show. I don't
I've
say
got a
what
shoebox.
show. Yeah, because I don't even know what show. And I'm just like, we met at a show. Can we get on a call and catch up? And a lot of times that's how I make connections with people and just stuff ends up happening, So it's really valuable. You guys want to say anything else? I actually have a list of questions. Someone emailed in a list of questions for us to talk about.
Nice.
Tony.
Yeah, let's talk
Yeah,
about it. Yeah.
I want to hear
Matt,
Silent. What is
Matt and I met, I think, for the first time in
2000.
2017. New Orleans, I think it was New Orleans. There was a show there. Yeah, I think it was 2017 when that big buzz of the refurbishing game was going on. And I think I've been seeing you since every single expo, every brand, every kind since then. So, I think you're a big example of networking, because there's opportunities do come along the lines with expos, and I think networking and creating a database of people in this industry is honestly priceless. I've seen so many people who worked together after these expos. I've seen companies acquired each other from expos like that. I remember when I went to another expo in Denver, Colorado, about a year or two ago. One of the guys that was there said, I met somebody who acquired my company for, 6 figures, you know what I mean? And 7 figures. So there is connections in expos. There is, priceless networking in expos. You meet a lot of people that until now, I think you realize every show that I go to, I realize that there is something new in this industry. There's a new genius out there who created some kind of software that can, integrate with whatever we're doing on a daily basis. PayVantage. I think I'm at PayVantage. If I'm not mistaken, back in 2021 at the GRE in Atlanta.
right.
Brandon. Yeah, I think that was the first time I ever knew PayVantage. And Aqua. And these two companies were only. I don't know how old the companies are, but to me, they're only 2-3 years old, and, to mention how much change they brought to, for those who don't know, I own retail stores. So they brought a lot of changes and increase into sales into my retail stores. And it helped out a lot of the finance and approvals, because their approvals, I think, almost 100%. On the way their system works. So if nobody knows about PayVantage, you should look into it. Contact Brandon French about it. I always recommend him people, and he knows. If customers are calling me and saying, we're struggling, we're going through tough times, I really have an introduction into my notes. Hey Brandon, this is such and such, and you help him out. He's one of my good customers. So I really have a introduction text into my notes that every time a customer is asking me, how can I help? And if they're struggling, I literally plug them into these financing companies and, options that they did not even know about, or they're just afraid to take that step, or not even just that. They don't know who to contact. And that is the biggest challenge that I've seen is people, who do I contact? Well,
Yep.
I can connect you with that right person.
This is awesome. Yes, so true, Tony. Okay, I'm so excited for this show. So someone actually emailed in questions. Now, a lot of it is to do with how to utilize the schedule. So since I'm making the schedule with everybody, then I feel like I can probably give a lot of tips here. But you guys, please, we're all going to chime in on this. But if you feel like, oh, who's going to answer that because it's about the schedule, I can chime in on it. The first, because the schedule is almost done. I'm going to go ahead and post the question. So the first question is, how to get the most out of the first time GRE visit. So this person has never been, they are going. For example, I want to learn as much as I can, all those amazing how-to demos, as well as the great speakers. So basically he wants to go, but he wants to make sure he gets as much as he possibly can. Now I have my input, but I want to hear from you guys first. I'll go last. So please.
Can I start? I mean,
Go ahead. We'll go around.
Go ahead.
Real quick. Bring a notebook. Number one. You're gonna. It's not overwhelming, but there's just a lot that will be going on. And so, for one, bring a notebook. Accept the fact that there will be some people that you're only going to get about 5 to 15 minutes with. Okay, just because we're going to be, have a lot of people there. But bring a notebook and schedule, follow-ups. But while you're there, sit down with, if someone and just, talk with them. Now, Nicole will be posting the schedule of the speakers and the demos, and she has it in a way that, most of them are going twice, so that way if you miss one, you can always go see it again.
Not the speakers, but the demos.
The demos, yeah.
Mm-hmm,
so, and a few things that we're doing better for this show is that we're going to start the first day off, and literally have them going all day, but you're going to have time. You're going to have plenty of time to go meet with the vendors and the exhibitors and everything like that. So to get the most out of it, come with an extremely open mind, come with a notebook, and that's my 2 minutes worth of what I would suggest. Yeah.
Thank you, Brian. Ahmed, what about you? How could somebody get the most out of their visit?
I like everything Brian said, and bring with you a camera. Take a lot of pictures.
God damn, Ahmed, you just took it out of my mouth. You should have skipped him. I was going to
take a lot of pictures and write names, because you're going to see about a couple hundred people, and you're going to think you're going to remember, and you're going to go back there and you're going to say, who did I talk to? What's his name? What is this? So take pictures and write notes. And that's one. Second thing, stop people. When you're walking and you see someone like you see Tony or Brandon and you met them, hey man, I saw you. May I have a couple of minutes with you? It's okay. What's the worst you're gonna say? I'm busy. This is my phone number. Let's connect later. Don't be ashamed. Don't be embarrassed. Because listen, you're spending time, you're spending money, you're coming to see people that can change your life. My life has changed because of these expos back 20 plus years ago. So I know that I'm gonna meet someone this time. I'm going to add something huge in my life. I don't know what is it, but for you guys who you just started, you got to be aggressive a little bit. Talk to people, stop people, learn from people. That's what we do here. Networking. Thank you.
Thank you, Brendan. Go ahead. What is your tip for someone?
Yes, so like Brian said, bringing a notebook, very important, because there's going to be so much new information, even if you've been to these things every year since we started. Lots of new information, lots of new contacts. It's like drinking through a fire hose, right? But what you're looking for is every day, even every hour, you're going to have that aha moment, right? You're going to make a connection, and it's going to spark something, and you're, oh, aha, that's what I need to be doing. Or I didn't think about that. You jot it down in your notebook, you take a picture of that business card, and then you follow up on those aha moments, because you probably can't absorb everything, but there's going to be 3 or 4 things that you bring back with you that's going to change the way you do business.
Awesome. Tony's like, darn it, I was going to say that too. I already know. He always mentions the 2 or 3 points.
Go ahead,
All right, Matt, what about you?
Well, the first tip, if you want to make the most out of the expo, is don't go out at night with Tony Baker.
This is true. Don't miss day 2.
Oh.
Do not miss day 2.
Yeah. No, I mean, well, in some seriousness, like that, I think that is one of the biggest mistakes for first timers is you start going to conferences and everybody loves to go out and it's a really fun time, but you will ruin your next day. because you'll be hungover, or if you don't drink, you will at least be extremely tired, especially in a city like Vegas. You will easily stay up until 4 or 5 a.m. and before you know it, it's time to start the next day, right? So just be mindful of and respectful of your own time and what you need to be performing at your best, right? But I also think like prep work, advanced prep work is really important. Yes, get to the conference, attend the sessions, and be engaged at the event, but also do the research beforehand. Who else is going? Who's speaking? What are the topics? What are the questions that are important to you? Have you made those connections with the speakers already? Are you writing down information that you want to make sure you get to ask? I think, somebody mentioned sometimes people are not going to have the time to talk as long as you want. So take advantage of the time that you do get and make sure you hit all of the right points, right? And I think this is the one thing that I think people who start going to conferences don't really understand initially is like, there's the prep work, there's the actual event, and then there's also what are you doing afterwards to continue to make it valuable, right? The follow-up. And if you're not focusing on all of those three things, you're probably going to be somewhat disappointed in some way. And so, make sure you have an action plan for how do you take advantage of the time that you do have, and also how do you set up those follow-ups, right? I would recommend if there are people that are going, whether they're speakers or they're sponsors or they are just regular attendees, and you can do this, make sure you set up appointments before you get out there. People's schedules fill up really, really fast. If it's something critical to your business that you really want to accomplish, set up 30 minutes or an hour or dinner or whatever. Do it well in advance, because you don't want to be the one trying to find time and you only get 2 minutes and you're not really getting their full attention, right? That's what works for me, but I don't know what works for Tony.
Don't go out with me.
Tony may or may not be guilty of strolling in the expo the second day. Still with the
No, you know what I do? I honestly book 3 days, barely, like coming in a day before and leaving the following day in the morning. Due to what, following to what Matt say, time is money and it's priceless. So coordinate your schedules and timing with everyone accordingly. I'm going to try something new. I am one of those guys, maybe a lot of people can relate, not on this page. I know a lot of other people can relate to this because I have a problem following up after the shows. And I do collect cards like Nicole, but I never call anyone and I never email anyone. So I'm going to try something new this time that may fit my personality. I am going to take a video of every person I meet there. Like we're just going to, and I think that's what Ahmed does. And believe it or not, I have a very good memory of faces. I have a very bad memory of names. And I'm usually that guy who says, that guy that drives the white pickup truck and that guy that, was wearing a polo. I would remember those things and I would forget names totally. So, before I remembered Brandon French name, I was calling him Pay Vantage guy, So you remember those things. So I think what I'm going to do is take a picture, take a video of everyone I'm going to meet with, because I think if you are combined in a picture, you can relate and you can remember that guy, or I can remember that guy more. Mm-hmm. So I think if you are like me and you don't like to write things and you're not going to look at that notebook after you leave the show, take a video. And I think, and I believe that every vendor out there would not mind if you could just say, tell me a little bit about your company in 30 seconds, I can definitely, there's, I don't know how many vendors we have up there, the GRA, maybe 100 plus. So I think 30 seconds times 100 is really nothing. 30 minutes, it adds up to 20, 30 minutes. So if you can add or create a video for every single booth that you go to and just tell them, what do you guys do? Record them. And I'll guarantee you, and I'll talk about myself and I think others, that I'd love to do a quick video for you instead of you're staying there for 15, 25 minutes, wasting your time, wasting my time, wasting the other people around, because there's going to be a lot of people in line. So, for us to, as vendors, to talk to everyone in the show, we must have time, of course. And for you to get the most valuable information, I think you really need that one-on-one time with the person or the vendor. So I think recording a 30-second video, I think the vendor would love to do it, and you can use it afterwards, and you'll remember who it is. You'll remember how they talk, how their attitude is, their body language, their accent, all that kind of stuff would be very important. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually go around the booths myself and just talk to everyone for 30 seconds. Just tell them,
Nice.
tell me something about your company.
Nice.
Love it.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Real quick, this morning I had a call with some new members that over in Ireland that have just joined the Repairs First Association network, and they're coming to the GRE. They haven't really been to anything like that, and some of the things that questions which they were asking me, of course I was answering, but they are so stoked to come to learn about the GRE, and more so about talking to other. I mean, keep in mind, I mean, Ireland looks up to the U.S. when it comes to this. The U.S. is so much further advanced. Take advantage of that and help other people. So it's a lot. So now I didn't think about recording, Tony. All three of you, that was a great tip. You could actually also, you just do like Samsung Notes, or if you have an Apple, whatever, and you can record. Hey, could you just say your name, a bit about your company? I'm going to record it, and then have them speak into it. They speak their name, their phone number, their email, then you save it, and you go back and listen to it after you get home. One thing I would like, just tiny plug in there, is you're going to want to sit there and talk with the vendor for a long period of time. And I don't want to deter anybody from doing that, because that's why you're coming. But also understand that there's 30 people behind you that want to do the same thing. So, I see a lot of people walking around, and they'll wait till the line gets down to like one or two or whatever. And that's great. So even our areas and whatnot. So, and if you're having a hard time getting to speak with one of the vendors that are there, just because, come find me. I'll be riding around a little scooter like I did at the last show, with the bullwhip. No, I'm just kidding. I'll be riding around. I'll be all over the show, and I'll be more than happy to help you get in front of that person. So just look for me at the show
as well, Brian. Stop people. If you
Yeah.
are aware of the logo, I mean, every one of us would have our uniform on with our company name, like what Matt is wearing and what I'm wearing. So if you see a brand that strikes you and you are just curious of what it is, I have a habit of walking around every couple of hours just to kind of, just meet people and see people who I missed and who I didn't miss. Stop me, stop Matt, stop Brandon, stop Ahmed, everyone else, stop them. Say, hey, I know you, you don't, even if you don't know their name, just start.
I see you somewhere.
Yeah, remember this. We are there and you are there for one reason. It's not working. So we're not going to mind that. And I'm sure you would want that. So we're there for you to stop us, because we are there to meet you. So make sure you stop any of us. You come to our booth. You feel comfortable. Don't hesitate. Ask the questions that you always have on your mind. And touching on what Brandon said, there's always going to be that moment. You know what I mean? It will. I get that every show. I didn't even know that's possible. You know what I mean? That's what I was missing in my store, and that's the person who I was looking for. In last show I remember Olympus Linden. Is Olympus Linden going to be there?
I believe, yes, they are going to be there.
So for example, I was talking to one of the people I've met in previous shows. I connected them with Olympus Linden, and they got approved for $20,000 right in the show. I went back to Olympus Linden and I closed the sale for $20,000.
I remember that.
It would be taking advantage of the show and taking advantage of the financing companies in the show to close the sale. So remember this, networking is priceless.
It is.
Because they offer on the business side, they offer like a net 30 to where, you can borrow X amount of dollars from them to go buy products from, companies, and then you can sell them. And then Brandon provides a service that when you sell them, you can get that finance to the customer. So there's a lot of synergies. And a lot of the people, a lot of the vendors that are at the expo, a lot of them do work in simultaneous with each other. So you'll see that as you're walking around.
Yep.
Yeah. So I want to touch a little bit on a couple of things. So like the website. So if we go back to the question, right? So
Oh yeah.
how to make the most, how to make the most out of your first time going. You're afraid to go because, you want to make sure it's worth it. I will say what Matt said about, planning. I think it was Matt that said that about planning. Okay. It's very important. And I think that people don't do that. They just show up and they're like, well, I'll grab a schedule while I'm there and I'll just walk around. And then you find that you feel overwhelmed because there is a lot going on. You're like, what's where and what, you know what I mean? So you can go to the website. Now the website is ever changing because we're a little ways out from the show. So you're going to see things start to kind of add in. And then within the next 30 days, that website's going to be done. So everything is going to be there for you. Okay. There's something new that we are doing this year. We put speaker topics online. So you can actually go online, drop down to events at the expo and go to speakers and you can see their names and what they're going to talk about. And then you also have the demos, which shows their face, what's going to, what they're going to be giving. But then on the schedule, once the schedule is live, it is not live right now when this call was recorded, you'll be able to download it in a PDF. Look at everything. Look at the different times when things are happening. You're still going to have free time to go to the event floor. Plus, the way the floor is set up, there's a big speaker room, 3 demo rooms. So you are going to be going across that floor to different things that are going on. Okay. So it's going to give you time also to mingle with the vendors. But go and look at the map and plan out, okay, this is what I want to see. And no, you're not going to get to do every single thing. The good thing about the demos is that they are doing multiple times on both days. So this year, if you just, we're going to have speakers and demos going both days. Figure out what you want to hear the most about, what's most important to you, and then go ahead and go, make yourself a list. I'm going to go here at this time, and then stick to your schedule as much as you can. There was some other questions that he kind of sent, and I want to say this was someone from the Cellbotics YouTube channel. So shout out to you guys for being so interested in sending this in. I really appreciate it. Is there an overlap? Yes, there is. There is an overlap between demos and speakers, and this is why. Not everybody wants to listen to the speaker. Not everybody wants to watch the demo. Lots of people go to be on the floor. They want to meet the vendors. They want to mingle. They want to make deals. They want to learn about new services and products. And so we wouldn't just have speakers for 2 hours and then demos for we wouldn't do that. We have to make sure that because there's so many people that attend, that there's a lot to do. Plus we've got our competitions. So if you want to compete, that's going to be on the schedule also. So you can, if you want to compete, okay, I got to go by this booth, do my competition piece, see if I get the best time. I need to know when to compete. So I think paying attention to the schedule is very, very important, and check out the website. Go through the website. It's got so much information. So there is overlap. And then also, can someone record? You can hold your phone up. You can record. I mean, whatever you want to do, that's fine. You want to take notes, audio. I mean, I don't think any speaker, any demo has an issue with that at all.
I don't think we're going to be that shy being on the stage. So we are on the stage for a reason, huh?
Right. They want to be watched. Yeah. Yeah, so nobody's going to mind if you record or anything like that. This is your notes. You need this to be able to follow up. And then make sure that, like Brandon said, I'm going to say this is my personal tip. Have something with you, be it digital or paper, where you can write down, like have a page that's like aha moments, because you will have a lot of those where it's like, oh my gosh, I need to do that. Do not think you will remember it, because you won't. And you need to have a specific area. You can't have a whole notebook of aha moments. You got to have a 1-pager that you can refer back to, because you can't just mix it in with everything, or bring a highlighter and highlight that sentence, because you will run into that. So
it would be nice to create categories like people who should follow up with, aha moments, just look into them, things like that. Categorize them into those kind of categories and categories. And when you go home, you're like, aha moment, pay advantage. What is pay advantage? If you look it up and you're like Brandon French, take his card, or maybe grab a book and start stapling the business cards to the notes that you're taking. You know what I mean? Because you're compressing everything in a day and a half. So it is a lot of information that, you know, every time I go there, I regret not taking enough pictures to use for my marketing.
I want to tell you, this year you must go both days and stay the full days.
Yes.
This is something that people will mess up when they're at their first show. They think, I'll just go for day one. Bad idea, this show. We've got so much jam-packed. It's a full day one, and day two ends at 2. So you can plan to leave, you know, have your flight later on day 2, but you need to stay the whole day. There is so much going on. We have full demos on day 2, all the way till 2.
90% of the deals, 90% of our deals actually made on day 2.
And they do all the giveaways on day 2. Vendors just give away all this stuff.
Exactly. You're getting a lot of that stuff on the tables. But honestly, it's like, you know what Brian said, you know, if you needed time to talk to the vendor, day 2 would be the day to grab those guys and talk to them, because it's less rush and there's more free in the booth, so you can talk to the vendors. If you try to close deals, you know, the vendors are so hyped up to make that deal going through. So day 2 would be the day to go there, you know.
I just had a member text me, said, "Hey Brian, are you guys going to be recording all of the demos and the speakers this year?" I don't have an answer on that right now. Nicole, I guess you have an answer on that.
No, you have got to come to the expo. This is not.
Well, no, they're coming. You know? He says we're coming, but if we don't have a way to record, will someone else be recorded to where we can get the video afterwards?
I'll tell you this.
No,
No expo record things, because if they do this and they put it online, there is no reason for anybody to come.
Nope, you got to come to the show.
Places I asked many places and they say yes. You'll see it a year later, but you're not going to see it.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
to answer your question, you got to come there. That's why put the investment. Another thing I just want to answer. Someone asked, "Can I do this? Can I record? Can I do this?" Do me a favor. When you're in Vegas, don't ask me. Just do it. It's all okay. You see some food sitting on the table. You want to grab something? Go ahead. You want to take this? Go ahead. Do whatever the hell you want to do. Just come over there.
You want to go over and pull Tony's beard? Please do it. I will pay the first person that does it.
No, just make sure you come there. You're okay. Your guy. Don't look at this as a picnic, as a vacation. This might be in Vegas, but there is business to be taken care of. I like what.
Well,
Matt
and
said
you know,
earlier.
we are shutting down. With that though,
just-
listen, we are shutting down at 2:00 on Friday. If you want to stay over until Saturday, well, you got to until whatever. It's Vegas. Have all your blast then, right?
Exactly. And Matt mentioned something very important. Said, don't get too excited when you land. Go get drunk and wake up the next day at noon. Don't do that.
Right.
Make sure that
You'll
you
miss
your
a
time
lot.
leverage. Yeah, and like what Brian said again, you want to do all the partying, just wait. It's a day and a half. Just make sure you're there mentally.
Let me ask Brandon a question. Before that, I think this is the first show that I've attended that is going to be on a weekend in Vegas. I've never been to a show on a weekend.
No, it's hold on.
Well, it's Friday. The second day is Friday.
Thursday,
It's
Friday.
Thursday, Friday.
Well, Friday, Saturday. I was never in Vegas on a Friday, Saturday.
Listen, hey,
So leave the party. Hold on, leave the party until after Friday and
No
Saturday.
partying, Brian.
No party.
On day one.
A question to Brandon. Brandon, have you guys changed anything for the past year or two on approval rates? What have changed in PayVantage in the past 2 years?
I mean, you know, as a company, we've responded to the market, you know, to the economic climate. So, I mean, obviously, you guys know things are more expensive. Expendable incomes have decreased, and honestly, it's exposed a bigger need and a bigger necessity for people to have banking options and fintech alternatives. And so, you know, even if you look back to our first expo, 2022, you know, we're coming out of COVID, all these things are happening, but money was a little bit more in free supply back then for us and for our customers. Okay. I might be going a little too granular here, Tony, but what I'm getting at is now, fast forward to 2024, we all feel it. People have less money to spend on our products than ever before. So if there's ever been a need to give your customers some help, whether it be through financing or whether it be through some value add services that you pick up from an expo vendor or whatever, we need to be able to provide the best value and the best options for our customers. So for PayVantage, we are becoming more of a necessity for our dealers than we've ever been before.
I stated that in the last Zoom call. I said that the big carriers been using financing for the past 20 years. And in the small writing at the end of the commercial, they said a bunch of blah, blah, blah. And people were not catching on to it, where you go there and they say you get a free iPhone 15 Pro Max, for example. And the customer don't realize that when you get in it for free, you're actually paying it off within 24 months with the payment. So the financing has been in the game for the big carriers for the past 20 years. Is just now in the past few, maybe 5, 6, 7 years, has been catching on to the cell phone repair industry. And that is how the big companies are been making their monies, is through financing. Second question I have for you. PayVantage is unlike other, and I want to educate myself and educate others on how valuable is PayVantage. PayVantage is unlike other financing companies out there, which you guys do download and like a kill switch, I would call it, on the phone, correct? That if the customer doesn't pay, you'll shut off their device, which in my opinion, as a business owner, it eliminates a lot of the fraud, and it guarantees that the customer is going to pay. So you're not losing the customer, and you're keeping good customers. And that's what a lot of store owners are worried about when they carry finance. So yeah, I mean, on that, I'll give you the positive side of that, because that sounds kind of negative. Honestly, it's an extra step. It truly is. But at PayVantage, we underwrite and originate our contracts a little differently, so that, and I tell all our dealers this all the time, if you're really selling devices and trying to get those high ticket invoices, then you should offer every financing option to your customers that you can get your hands on, right? It's you find what's best for your customer individually at a one-on-one setting. It's not a one-size-fits-all. So with that said, PayVantage does approve a different set of clientele than other competitors do. So we may approve someone that's denied by a competitor and vice versa. And with that said, what we're doing is we are mitigating some of that risk, some of the things like that with an option that can lock the phone if the customer doesn't pay. So that's true. It is an extra step, but we're talking about typically it's download the app or no sale. So well, what a store owner worries about are two things. One would be crowding up the fraudulent customers, and that's what a store owner don't want to have. And number two, they don't want to lose the customer when they finance and not pay, because if customer buys a phone and finance it through any other company and they don't have a cap on that phone, the customer doesn't pay it off, they're never going to come back to you to pay their bill. They're going to think that they're always going to get caught, or they've done a fraudulent act and they're afraid they're going to get into trouble. So I think PayVantage kind of eliminates those things, and it makes the business owner, a store owner, more comfortable to deal with PayVantage and for it to be more secure on the process. And that's why one of the reasons I like using it in my stores. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, PayVantage really, like, we designed it from the necessity of having own stores, right? So my background is we had 10 stores in Arkansas and Missouri, and we developed a product to kind of solve the problems. We listened to the market, listened to what customers needed. And at the end of the day, as a store owner, you need to be able to solve and bring solutions to your customers. And one of the solutions is, how do I get a late model phone if I only have $50 in my pocket, right? And so if your store is armed with financing options, then suddenly you become the hero. You become the guy that solves their problem, and they're telling all their friends. And guess what? We have people that are affiliate marketers per se down in Tampa that's telling everybody about GSM Warehouse and about Cellfix, because they're excited at the solution and the service they got at Tony's stores.
Yeah. Last question, and that goes for everyone. I get a lot of replies from, I would call them, newbies in the industry, where, for example, an iPhone XR sells at GSM Warehouse, for example, $165 wholesale price. And they would say, oh, but it's on Amazon for $195 or $190. my response could be different, but I respond saying you can't compare yourself to Amazon and eBay because you are a storefront who gives customer service, who has the phone in the store, and you can make the sale right then and there, and you give a warranty instead of them dealing with not with a robot. So I always get that question, like, it's on Amazon for this price. It's been like this for 10, 15 years since I've ever been in this industry. It doesn't change. But what do you say to people who compare themselves to Amazon and eBay? And that goes for whoever wants to answer.
Let me start with the answer. Okay, number one, you're not Amazon. You give them a phone, they touch it, you talk to them on the phone, you answer their text messages, you respond to their instant messages, all the good stuff. The guy sitting in Amazon, when you have a problem, what are you going to do? You're going to talk to a screen? Who are you going to call? And if they respond to you, they might not. So you give value, you give services, you talk to them. You might even educate them about something. Amazon is not going to do that. I hate Amazon. I don't want to buy anything.
So what is the answer that the store owner should answer the customer? And that goes three-way, because it goes from a vendor to a business owner, and from a business owner to a customer.
Well, I said the same thing. If you want, go buy it from Amazon, man. Good luck. But I know you're not going to be happy. You're going to have some questions. And when you come back over here, I'm going to charge you $25, $35 just to answer your questions. I'm not going to give you free service. So the store that give free services to special customers, they're not making they're not in business then. They're going to be
so that is the wrong model.
I never looked at Amazon when I never look at Amazon as a competition. They might get the low customers, which is I don't want them anyway. But I want to talk to people and I want to service them. Market, service, offer, finance, like what Brandon said. And come on, who's going to buy a phone from Amazon for $800 and $900? I just bought a brand new 15 Pro Max, 1 terabyte, and I paid full price for it. And I'm not going to buy some garbage from Amazon. Amazon is not the best deal in town. These days are not. No, you buy service. You buy experience.
At least you buy what you see. You buy what you see. You're not buying something blind.
Talk to your customers with respect. Give them the service. Give them the value. They will never go to Amazon. So it's you who will allow them to go and sue. Some of them is going to go anyway, but give value, give service, and customer service, and answer their question. Answer your phones, your messages, train your employees. All the good stuff that you do, come to the show, and we'll talk about this. I'll be talking about how to keep retail stronger and make more money. Retail is not dead. Retail is strong, but some people's brain is half dead, and you need to change that. You got to change, and you got to learn. Come to the expo. I promise you, we'll talk about this.
Makes sense. Matt, what do you guys? What's your latest?
We got 5 minutes
for Matt.
Okay.
What is your latest adventures? I guess, if you want to call it.
Latest adventures. Just working on Right to Repair. We've got 18 states and 26 bills, and it's 25 days into the year. So
Nice.
things took off pretty rapidly, and so we're just trying to keep up. And we're a small operation. We don't have the millions, billions, or trillions, depending on what company you're talking about, to do this. We do this on a shoestring budget. So not only is it trying to keep up with what's going on in the states, but also how do we kind of organize the grassroots to get to the hearings and stuff.
Matt, you know what? Actually, this is a great time to tell everybody this. Motorola is going to be there, Darwin, and he's going to be speaking about how best to utilize what Right to Repair is doing to access Motorola's information, which is just great. He's also going to be speaking on why they designed devices the way they do, because there's kind of this narrative that some reason OEMs are sitting around like, how can we make this unrepairable? When there is a method to the way that they design things. And so he's going to break that down. He's actually an engineer at Motorola, so he's going to give that kind of take on it. So I'm excited because you're going to be there speaking about what's coming, and he's going to be speaking about how to utilize it with the OEM, which is great.
What do you guys benefit out of, like, retail stores? What do you guys? What is your intention of when you're attending the expo? What do you expect from dealers, store owners? You guys educate them, or how does that work?
Mm-hmm.
Repair.org just wants to keep the community informed and involved. We're crafting legislation and trying to get legislation passed that directly should benefit stores, right? Right now, or historically, the only voice in that mix has been the manufacturers and their lobbyists and us. And so it's my job, it's our job to make sure that stores are represented accurately and fairly in those conversations. We just updated the bill for 2024 back in August, and we implemented some language that addresses parts pairing. And so, that's something we didn't even think about 5 years ago because it wasn't an issue. Yeah. And so I think it's great. And some of these things are, how do you define what independent contract or independent service provider is? How do you define documentation? That's all part of the legalese in the bill. So that's kind of the stuff we're working on. I think attending these things is trying to get a feel for like, what do people want to see in the legislation? What are the problems they're dealing with that we need to try to address?
So repair.org is pretty much an organization that really just helps the cell phone repair industry.
And others too.
I think, we try to help, agriculture and cell phones and computers, pretty much all types of repair. Anything with a chip is the best way to think about it, which is a lot of things nowadays. We believe that the right to define ownership rests with the consumer and whoever they choose to define that with them, right? And that can be an independent repair business, that can be an authorized repair shop through an OEM. But I think it starts with the consumer. You spent $1,000 on this device or more, you get to have a say in how it's repaired and who you take it to.
Makes sense. Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm excited because we have different pieces of that coming together. We have Matt there speaking, and then we have an OEM representative actually coming to say, hey, this is how you can utilize this legislation to access our information, which I'm super excited about because I just feel like that's something that you don't hear a lot. And so something so candid to say, yeah, the legislation is here, but how do you use it as a shop owner? So I'm just so excited, and I'm going to be listening.
All the conferences are going to be the second day, not the first day, correct?
No, we have speakers first day and second day, and we have demos first day, second day running simultaneously. So there's multiple demos going on, and the schedule should be done pretty soon, and then you'll see there's a lot going on. Nice. But like Matt will be on day one, and Samsung will also be there, Wise will be there, and Motorola, and then and I'm just excited because it is something that shops struggle with understanding. How do I utilize this legislation? And then for an OEM to just say, let me give some tips on how you can, I don't know. I'm excited about that because I feel like it needs to be heard, So yeah, I'm just overall excited to see all the speaker sessions. I don't want to miss any of it.
Be there or be square, right? It's only in Vegas, literally only in Vegas.
Honestly, it's a lot of fun over there, guys. It's a lot of fun to be with you anywhere. It's not only Vegas. Every expo had an experience, and I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I feel like and I can help someone. I really give. I'm there to help people. I'm there to grow. I'm there to have fun. And my fun is not just partying. It's just being with the right people. The people on the screen right here, and of course all of you guys as well. Make sure you get there. And
it's the vibe. It's the successful vibe. Look, you don't have to be rich to be successful. I think being successful is a mental a mindset that you are giving yourself. So I think it starts with an idea. It starts with a Brandon said, it's a moment.
We got 1 minute.
That,
I just want to respect everybody's time. For people start messages, I got to drop.
Absolutely.
So, Tony, thank you. I don't like cutting you off. I'm just trying to keep this to an hour.
Good.
Yeah. See you guys all at the expo. We'll see you next week on the next live. Thank you, Matt and Brandon, for being here, and
Matt,
so happy to see you guys at the expo.
Matt, shoot me an email. Let's get on the calendar. I do need to converse with you over some things that are both of us are not knowing, but we're both related in right now. So
want
to talk with you
right now. Free tickets, right?
Free ticket right there. Free ticket.
Free ticket. Yes.
Free ticket. There you go. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Have a good weekend, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you.